What's up guys, FM Campbell here and welcome to episode number 12 of the Aston Villa series. Now, pretty much just going to get straight into it. A couple of things to note before we get into any details about what's been going on since we last updated you on Wednesday. We requested a wage and transfer budget increase, obviously from the new board. They have actually rejected both of them, unfortunately, but we carried on speaking to them and we've actually had the youth recruitment improved. So hopefully come March time when we get the regens coming in, we get a better youth recruitment than we did last time. Yeah, but we've had some things obviously go on in the league, so let's go on since we left you. We left you at the end of, after the first game obviously. So we drew 1-1 with Man City in the first game of the season. Yeah, Grealish got the only goal. Obviously, Benteke is still at the club at this point, and I'll go into details about that very, very shortly. We then had our European or Europa League playoff leg 1 against Zelcheznikar, that I previously mentioned in the last series, in the last episode. Sorry, Doran Rotario and John Guidetti getting the goals for us. We then drew 1-1 with West Ham. Christian Benteke scoring his first goal in 18 games and had an 8.3. I'm telling you something, he must be sat at the front of the glass in that shop window, literally licking the window, hands full on the window, looking out at everyone walking by, thinking, look at this 8.3, look at this goal, 8.3 and a goal. Come on, buy me, buy me. I hope someone does. I hope someone does. We then returned in our second leg in the Europa League playoff against Zelcheznikar and drew 0-0 at home. So we actually went through after a 2-0 aggregate win. So this actually then took us through to the Europa League, and we've drawn our group. We've actually got a pretty tough group, to be fair. We have. I mean, it's okay. It's not too bad. We do have there are some tough teams there. We've got Rubin Kazan, the Russian club. They're currently first in the Russian Premier League. Obviously, they only just started though. And also we drew Werder Bremen in Germany, who in the German league. Obviously, two reasonably tough teams. They're probably just below our, if not around our level. Then we had Randers FC from Denmark. So, I mean, it's a nice group considering some of the teams that we could have drawn. Obviously, couldn't draw Ajax. We've got PAOK, Tel Aviv, St Johnstone from Scotland, Dynamo Kiev, Roma, and Zurich. That's a pretty tough group. Sporting Standard Maribor, another tough group. We've got Athletic Bilbao, Ghent, Copenhagen in there, Atletico Fenerbahce, Maritimo and Dijon, Liverpool Wolfsburg, Napoli Sociedad, we've got Inter and Spartak and Dynamo in that group, Stade de Reims as well. Then we have Milan, Dnipro, Ludogorets, and then Karabag, Agdam. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. Ajax, Sparta Prague, Panathinaikos, Esbjerg, and then in Group L is Braga, AZ, Alkmaar, Zalgiris, and Dynamo Moscow. So, I mean, it's a reasonable group. We're probably of a very similar level, to be honest with you, between ourselves, Bremen, and Rubin. But I do think we can progress from this. Obviously, we'll have the losers in the groups of the Champions League as well that will join us later on in the season, but quite a nice little group. We'll see how we get on. Our first game in that will be Randers FC, which is in 2 games time, in obviously Group A, and then we go to Rubin, then we go to Bremen, again at Bremen, then Randers, and then back to Rubin Kazan. So I mean, that's just going up to, that's still in December, so we've got a lot of games coming up in the Europa League. Let's hope that it doesn't affect our Premier League form too much. Obviously, we haven't even won in the league yet after a draw with City, and then we lost 2-0 at Everton. So no one scored for us, and Lukaku scored twice. I'd love to get Lukaku at this club. So we'll go into the transfers. We've got a couple of things that have been going on, so let's go to the transfers into the history. So I'll go with the outs first. Obviously, the 15th is when we left you. I mentioned Josue that we're trying to get out on loan. He's gone to Stoke on loan. He looks like a really, really good player. I was thinking about keeping him because he's only 24. He's really, really cheap on wages. But I'd like to probably get his value up and see if we can buy anyone better in there. Because obviously we're playing, not necessarily playing a number 10 or someone in the attacking midfield role. We could have retrained him here, I guess, in the midfield centre. Well, he's accomplished there already. I'd like him to be natural in there. Obviously, we've got Verratti already that plays in his role, so he's not going to get too much game time, and I think he would end up probably moaning. Giedrius Arluskas, he's gone on loan to I think it's Rayo Vallecano, obviously. In Spain, he's 27 years old. We actually signed this guy on a free. He joined us and his value rocketed to £7 million. He's got really, really good stats actually, pretty much across the board. He's not too bad at all. But yeah, we let him go on loan just because we have better choices in goal. Obviously, we have Scuffe, who's an absolute beast of a wonder kid on this. Then we have Gal Kakuta, who obviously we signed on a free previously. He's gone on loan to West Ham. Then we have Ben Taylor to Basingstoke on loan. Jordan Lydon we let go on a free transfer. And yes, you've probably seen it. Christian Benteke does no longer play for Aston Villa. Finally, he's gone. Oh, so happy. So yeah, hopefully that will improve the squad morale throughout the season now. He's gone to Spartak Moscow. He went for quite a cheap price, to be fair. I would have liked to have got a lot more for him. Only 13.25 million. His value's only 8.5 million since he's got there. So not far off around double-ish, I guess. But he is a good player. You can't deny he's a good player, but his work, I mean, I've just noticed his work rate's pretty poor, but he just really affected the dressing room, so we had to go. If you don't know, if you're probably looking at this and you haven't seen the previous episodes, you're probably looking at it thinking, why you let Benteke go? He's your best player. He's on not bad wages. Trust me. Check out the previous episodes and you'll understand why. Graham Burke, we let go out on loan to Hartlepool. Russian Hepburn Murphy to Port Vale on loan. Luke Garbett, who I'll come into. Oh, we actually just signed him at the end of the season, at the end of the last episode. Yeah, Luke Garbett's gone on loan to Sunderland. Obviously, very versatile down the left-hand side. Can also play right back as well. But yeah, I'd like to probably get him into our first team / be the backup for our first team very soon. But we'll see how we get off with Enrique at left back. Callum O'Hara has gone to AFC Telford. Jonas Sundman has gone to my mighty York FC. Obviously, check out the York. Bit of a plug. We're taking control of York in our other series, in the Building a Force series. So yeah, Jonas Sundman has gone to York, and then Anes Omerovic has gone to Crawley. So in regards to intakes, Giedrius Uluskas, probably the guy that I said brought in on free, he was obviously since the last episode. We've bought a beast of a right back in Sebastian Corchia. I'm absolutely over the moon with this signing. He's a little bit expensive on wages, but he's going to be our first choice for some years to come. Really, really good right back. Obviously very versatile down the right hand side. But what a signing this really is. We signed him for very, very cheap, 7.25 million, 8.5 million in value. So yeah, he's obviously going to increase. But what a signing that is for Corchia. And look at this one. Now, with some adjustments of the budgets and things like that, and because we had a lot of wages go out, obviously, I think people like Darren Bent, for example, he was on a stupid amount of wages. We've got some other players that went out that obviously we've made some money on, we made previously. So if we go to and sort the fee out to the top, Benteke 13.25, Guzan for 9.75, Ron Vlaar for 8, Sissoko for 7.75, Carlos Sanchez for 7, Slenderos for 4, Helenius for 3.6, Bakuna for 3.5, Vyman for 2.5. Who else we got? And Zogbia for 2.5, Kozak for 1.8, Baker for 1.8, Antonio Luna for 1.7, Kieran Clark for 1.7. Then we got Bennett 500k, Jumar for 175k. Would have liked to have got more for him, unfortunately it didn't go down well. Saviola will be playing against us for Ruben Kazan, just realised that. 170k he went for. And then obviously the loans that we've done as well, a lot of wages that are being covered. So we've got Scott Sinclair, who was on a reasonably big wage. Zimmerman he's on a lower wage. Ashley Westwood's on a reasonably big wage. Carls Gill's on a big wage. Who else have we got in here that's probably on a reasonable? Josh Sway's not a bad wage. Kakuta not a bad wage. Garbett not a bad wage as well. So a lot of players where we've saved a lot of money. We've got a total of 72 million. Obviously that's not including the wages as well. 72 million that we've sold. So we've made the club a little bit of money. And then we've signed 59.25. So obviously Benteke went. We needed a big name striker. And we bought Mauro Icardi. What a signing this is. He's absolutely unreal. 14 million he cost us. Signed from Inter Milan. He's on 56 grand a week. So he's a little bit expensive. And he's 13 million in value already. Composure of 15, finishing of 16. He's only 22. Determination 16, which I love. He can take penalties for us as well. He's got reasonably good physical stats. He's 5'11". The only thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, but it's not really too much, is his vision, but it's only 11, and his bravery, which is 12. But like I said, he's 22 years old. Probably one of the best sort of young strikers, slash like 20 to 25 year old strikers on the game. So an absolute coup for the club. It could be a real big push in both in the league and the cup in the cup competitions that we're in. Obviously, Sissoko left, and we have Henrique at left back. We also brought in Luke Garbutt, who we decided to let go on loan, as you know. Jonathan Silva, one of the wonder kid left backs on the game, 21 years old, from Sporting Lisbon. But the thing about it, he only cost us 8.25 million as well. The thing about him, he's got a real long future ahead of him. He's 21 years old. He's only on 16 grand a week as well. If you have a look at his contract, he's got a minimum fee release clause of 45 million to clubs in the Champions League. He's got a relegation release clause of 27 million. Not likely that we're going to get relegated. Touch wood. But yeah, so Jonathan Silva, an absolute, real big, great buy for us. So yeah, since we left you, I mean, we've made some 3 huge signings. Our number 1 right back, our number 1 striker, and our number 1 left back. So yeah, we've got Corchia, Icardi, and Silva all in since the last episode. So 3 really big name signings to join the likes of Verratti in centre midfield. So we're slowly starting to build a nice team now. If you have a look here, obviously we have Phil Jones. We'll start off. We've got obviously Jed Steer. Well, Scuffy will be our first choice keeper. He's already over a decent level, to be fair, and he will continue to progress. He'll be our first choice keeper. I think he's probably on par with Brad Guzan, so it's not exactly a step backwards, and he's got a bright future. Yeah, Jed Steer as our backup. Then at right back we'll have Corchia as number 1 and Matt Lowton as our second choice. At left back we will have Jonathan Silva as our number 1 and then Henrique as second choice. We then have 4 centre backs. Obviously 2 for every position is something that we always aim for. So we'll have probably Munoz or Akore as our left centre backs. Balanta or Akore as our left centre backs. Balanta being our number 1 choice, and then Phil Jones or Munoz, Ezequiel Munoz, as our right centre backs. Obviously with Phil Jones being the number 1 choice. Yeah, so a real good back 4 with the likes of Phil Jones, Balanta, Corchia, and Silva. Then in defensive midfield, we'll have probably be Lucas Romero as our number 1 choice. Then Nicholas Stark as our backup defensive midfielder. Left centre midfield, we've got Fabian Delph or Gaston Gil Romero. We decided to keep Fabian Delph in the end. Yeah, Gaston Gil Romero will be our number 1 choice. So the 2 Romero guys will be starting for us whenever we can start them. Then we have obviously Fabian Delph as backup, and then our right centre midfield we have either Marco Verratti or Sol. And Sol is a great little loan buy that we've made. 20 years old, he's got really good stats already as an advanced playmaker. Obviously Verratti being a number 1 choice, my god, this guy's a beast. Really big beast. Such a good player. What a signing for the club. By far our best player. According to our assistant, currently by Star, essentially. So yeah, Verratti or Sol in centre midfield. Then we've got Tom Cleverley that can play in a variety of roles. Obviously in the central midfield, whether it be sort of box to box, bit of a playmaker. So yeah, that's not too bad. We may obviously sign him on a free. On the right hand side, we'll be playing Ibe as our number 1 choice, probably, or Grealish. I do like Ibe though. He seems to perform really well. He performs higher than his actual stats are really. So yeah, good signing. Obviously, with Ibe coming in on loan from Liverpool. Then we'll probably have I would say Grealish as our number 1 left-sided player. So it probably look a little bit like this. So Grealish on the left, Ibe on the right. Then we've got Rotario as backup on the left, and then Munir as backup on the right. But that's the good thing about them. Other than Ibe, who I prefer to have on the right hand side, and obviously Rotario on the left, Grealish can play both sides, and so can Munir. So the versatility could be handy there, because they're kind of backup for both sides then. Then we've got Icardi up top, who's our number 1 choice, and we're actually going to go for just 2 strikers and see how we get on until January. So Icardi up top will be our number 1 choice, and then Guidetti we actually decide to keep. Just because I like his fit. It's his composure that lets him down his work rate a little bit. But other than that, and his natural fitness, as well. He's fairly inconsistent too, according to our assistant manager. But he's okay for backup. One of the biggest things and the biggest problems I have is when I'm doing rotations. So I probably played Guidetti in the cup competitions, but when I'm rotating players in, some of the players that don't play as often, they start to moan, like Saviola. I mean, I hardly played Saviola last season, and Benteke was injured for a lot of it. So it was Benteke, Zapata, who was an absolute beast, and unfortunately we couldn't sign because we couldn't get a work permit for him. And then on the third choice of Saviola, and he literally played 4 games for us all season, and the legend that he is. But yeah, so that's why we've gone for just 2 strikers. But I mean, we'll probably look to increase that very, very soon. So we'll see what happens. But these are the under-21s. Everyone is out on loan. The only player that haven't managed to get out on loan so far is ViyqEW Silla. So unfortunately, he's going to be with the club for a little bit longer. Yeah, 15k a week. So it's not too bad on the wages. Hopefully we can loan him out very, very soon, or sell him, one or the other. I'd like to get more than 1.5 million for him though, but that probably won't increase with him being in the under-21s. The long term, I'd like to get Cleverly to go, 10.25 million in value. If we can cash in on that, that'd be unbelievable. Because I'd imagine by the end of the season, his value is probably going to be about sort of 3-4 million, because he's not going to play too much. Obviously, with the rotation of Gil, Romero, Delph, Verratti, and Sol. So we'll decide what we're going to do with Tom Cleverly, probably either January or the end of the season if no one will come for him for January. The under-18s, reasonably big squad in the under-18s. I mean, we've got Issa Solomon, who was already at the club with us, and we've got Russian, Hepburn, Murphy, who's also already at the club. Both of them are out on loan currently. Other than that, obviously we had a poor youth intake in March last year. Well, March this year, technically March last season. So yeah, not much to jump about, and we haven't actually been able to approach any regens as of yet, just because of the fact that we just haven't had the funds for it. But hopefully, with these new owners, they'll continue to invest in the club, and we can keep going forward. The balance is at 68 million, which is why I was slightly confused that they didn't give me any more sort of transfer budget or wages budget. The projected balance is 86.9 million as well, so we're projected to make profit, which is good. We're starting to slowly turn the finances around. We've got a gift loan of 107 million still in place, and a bank loan of 5 million still in place. So we're still paying that off. But one's due to end in December this year. 875k remaining on it, and we've got 98 million remaining on the gift loan. So that's going to be going until 2024, paying that off. But actually, the bank loan will be finished in December, so that's good news. So yeah. A lot of the signings were due to good. Sorry, I'm just reading out some of my notes I've got down here. So yeah, a lot of this, the signings that we got to do were due to the good management that we've had with the budget. We now are just under on the wage budget to a point where we can't even move it, but we are under it by 5 grand. So it's we literally just squeezed in some of the players that we wanted, and we have no transfer budget whatsoever. So we'll see what happens come the end of the season / in January, if we can manage to either make some more signings or sell some players, but we don't really have a lot to sell at the moment. That's probably one of the main things. We've said that we're going to finish above mid-table in the Premier League, so if we can get in the Europa League / Champions League, well, we're not going to get Champions League this season, I don't think, but if we can aim for the Europa League again, obviously the finances may change, because we may get an opportunity to change our targets come towards January, so fingers crossed we can get something there. The Europa League, we are expected to reach the group stage, so we've already done that. We've actually already succeeded what they wanted us to do in the Europa League. So if we can get out of the group, I mean, financially that's going to be huge for a club like Aston Villa, but it's going to be very, very tough with the teams that are around us, so we'll see what happens, especially as our team's quite young that we've got at the moment. What else is happening? The junior coaching budget has been increased, and also due to the wage budget, good management of the transfer and wage budget, we've actually now had our transfer revenue for the first time retained to 100%. So if we sell a player now, we will get 100% of the money that we sell him for, which is good, and that obviously goes in line with the balance. It's a shame on FM that you can't maybe speak to the board and say, for instance, I've got, not at the minute, but I remember my Man United save, for example, I had like 350 million to spend or something if I moved the budget slider all the way to the end, but we had like some loans to pay off and things like that. It's a shame that maybe they can introduce that in future FMs where you can sort of talk to the board and say, look, I've got money I don't need here. If you want to help out with some of the finances, feel free to do so. But obviously we can't do anything at the moment, so we'll see what happens going forward. We have started searching for a feeder club. Hopefully we'll have some information about that in the next episode. What else have we got? After I'd sold, I've got a note here. After I sold all my players, a lot of loan offers come in for Benteke. So I think this is. What was it? After I sold all my players, a lot of loan offers come in for Benteke. I can't really remember what that was for. I think that might have been for the previous episode that I've accidentally put it in this one. Yeah, scout. Oh, sorry. Yes, there's another thing. The scout counts. So the scout counts. The scout count. If we want to go to staff, yeah, the scout count's actually been increased from 8 to 10. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can actually approach 3 more scouts. That's great news. And yeah, that's pretty much the episode. That's pretty much the update. Obviously we've had some really big name signings going forward. The tactic hasn't changed, so this is probably what this is probably our strongest team, if you like, other than Munir. Munir will now be a Cardi. So we've got Scuffy at centre back, in goal, Silva at left back, Corchira at right back, Balanta and Jones at centre back, Lucas Romero in defensive midfield, Gaston Gil Romero at sort of ball winning midfield, sort of left centre midfield, Verratti advanced playmaker, Ibe on the right, Grealish on the left, Icardi up top. Then obviously we've got Enrique to come in at left back, we've got obviously Akore or Munoz to come in at centre back for Balanta and Jones. Then at right back we still have the man, Matt Lowton, who's somehow still with the club. Defensive midfield, we've got Start to come in. Left centre midfield we have Delph. Right centre midfield we have Sol. Then we have Cleverley that can cover both, obviously if we get any injuries for rotation. On the right hand side we can bring in Munir, or Grealish can move over. Then on the left hand side we've got a choice of Rotario as well as backup. And then up front we've got Guidetti, but we may have to look and invest in a third striker. Maybe a youngster or a regen in the future, but that will have to wait until we get some money. In regards to other competitions, in the draw of the Capital One Cup we drew Doncaster in the 3rd round, so a nice draw for the Capital One Cup. Hopefully we can do as well as we did last season. Obviously we reached the semi-finals, so yeah, it'd be really good if we could keep pushing again in the Capital One Cup. In the league, after our poor start, we're actually sat in 15th, only 3 games in obviously, so don't be too worried about after seeing only 2 points after 3 games. We've obviously got quite a lot of new players, a bit of a reshuffle. Obviously the previous episode we've had a real sort of a fresh start and got loads of new players in, let loads of players go. So the tactic is still being learnt. Oh sorry, it's accomplished now, that one. This one is exactly the same level, and the 4-4-2 deep, which we don't play too much, is accomplished as well. So they're actually learning the tactic pretty well now. Obviously we're a little bit further into the season. But yeah, the team cohesion is coming together nicely. Things are falling into place. So all we've got to do now is turn around the budget. Sorry, another addition. I'm not sure if I mentioned this. We've actually got a future transfer already arranged. We have, let's go with the outs. Sorry, ins. We have Florian Torvin joining us for an initial fee of 325k and 1.1 million over 48 months. So 1.4 million overall, and he looks like an absolute beast. He's currently playing for Sporting, but he was on loan, I think. Is he on loan? Yeah, I think he's on loan at Sporting. Yeah, sorry, so he plays for Marseille, he's on loan at Sporting. So we just missed on him, but it does mean that he joins us at the 1st of the 7th in 2016. So we'll get him for next season. Obviously, we've only got Munir on loan, so he'll probably be a replacement for Munir. And we'll have Grealish or Ibe on the right. Obviously, we'll have to find probably a right winger for Ibe on the right hand side. Then we'll have Rotario and Torvin on the left. So, loads of things going on. Obviously, got Jovic that joins in January as well, Luka Jovic. That's pretty much it, to be honest with you. Get your comments in. Feel free to like the video. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Obviously, we got this nice big resolution, nice new look. I hope you're still liking it. It's getting more information on the screen for you guys to obviously see. Our next game is against Arsenal in the league. Then we have Rounders FC in the Europa League. We'll probably obviously see you at the end of September, beginning of October in the next episode for episode number 13. Anyway guys, I'll see you guys soon. Thank you very much for watching. I've been FM Campbell, and peace.